Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation, with some new details on the American Eagle security features. Let's explore! The United States Mint has been very quiet about the anti-counterfeiting technology with the new gold and silver eagles for the Type 2 designs. As you know, it simply consists of a missing reed, and that missing reed feature is absent, notably absent from the half-ounce all the way down to the 10th-ounce size gold coins. And it's very suspicious, in my opinion. You may remember a video where I was very critical about the security features, but CoinWorld has pressed the United States Mint about this and has revealed a very interesting article about this topic called New American Eagle's Anti-Counterfeiting Tech is both overt and covert, which we've talked about that. In fact, that is what has been proposed since early on in David J. Ryder's tenure as U.S. Mint Director. This article by Paul Gilks talks about this. The 2021 American Eagle reverse of 2021 gold and silver coins have both overt and covert anti-counterfeiting technology, according to the United States Mint. Nothing new there. The existence of technology beyond that, what is visibly present on the coin, was revealed by a Mint official in response to questions about a new anti-counterfeiting laboratory at the Philadelphia Mint. Examples of the redesigned 2021 American Eagle reverse of 21 gold and silver coins and all surface finishes are being produced using anti-counterfeiting technology, both overt and covert, according to Todd Martin from the United States Mint. One easily noticeable overt feature is the reed pattern variation, which essentially is a missing reed. I don't know why they really even call it a reed pattern variation. It's a notch at the 6 o'clock position on the edge of each of the 2021 American Eagles when viewed with the obverse facing up. It's a missing reed. Mint officials are not identifying the coin's covert feature or features. Now, you may remember, as I talked about this when it was first proposed, is that there were two levels of covert features that were going to be offered by the United States Mint. And one of them would be recognizable by dealers. In other words, a dealer will be able to verify the coin's overt feature using maybe a special device, kind of like the Bullion DNA program by the Royal Canadian Mint, where you can actually rent or lease or buy a piece of equipment that will be able to give authorization or show a unique signature to each die for a Royal Canadian Mint gold 1 ounce coin. And so we could potentially liken something like that could possibly be what's going on with the United States Mint. But there's been no talk about it. It's not been mentioned. You would think by now we would have heard something like that. And then the other one would have been something that only the Secret Service or the government would know about, and that would be a secret. But nonetheless, it looks like there are just two because they're not giving any further information about this, and they're not identifying the coin's covert feature or features. The Mint benchmarked its efforts against anti-counterfeiting programs implemented by other world mints, said Todd Martin, who's a deputy director for the Mint's Office of Corporate Communications via email October the 12th. These advanced features will make these coins more difficult to counterfeit. The United States Mint works closely with the U.S. Secret Service on coin counterfeiting issues. The details of that working arrangement are confidential, and that is understandable. However, they can be as secret as they want to be on that, but unless somebody knows about some level of anti-counterfeiting measures that can be measured in the public sector, or in the private sector, really, well, then it really doesn't do any good, because if they're so minute or only recognizable by this a sort of a signature of the alloy, which I can't imagine that would be what it is. In other words, it's 22 karat gold, but the other metals that are associated with it are only detectable by devices that only the government has. That leads to a lot of suspicion, but a metallurgist certainly can and will, I would assume, be able to tell that if the coin is melted down or analyzed by very sensitive equipment. But I go on. The introduction of anti-counterfeiting technology in the production of U.S. coins is part of the Mint's more active role in combating counterfeiting, as well as collaborating with the U.S. Secret Service in counterfeit coin detection, Mint officials say. Part of the Mint's counterfeit coin detection initiatives includes a new laboratory. Okay, well, we have a lab. That's fine and dandy, but what good does that do us with just simply a missing read? It really does not really do a whole lot, especially when most people don't look at the edge of their coins. In fact, the way that these coins are produced, many of them show the coins with what's known as metal alignment. In other words, the counterfeit coins, when you turn them this way, are right side up. Now, when you turn a U.S. coin this way, it is indeed upside down. But when you flip it top to bottom is when you see the design come forth in all of its glory, right side up, by flipping from top to down. That's called a coin flip. This is known as a metal turn when it's that way. Now, looking back here at the article, it says here that the lab will use improved testing and authentication methods to determine the genuineness of coins returned via the presently suspended mutilated coin redemption program. Well, again, what good does that do? Because most of those coins that come from China, there's no way to trace them. There's no way, once they're in collector hands, they could pass through several collectors' hands before they make their way there. So it seems very unlikely that this thing's going to be very useful. And so if you have a coin that is counterfeited with a coin turn situation, you will notice that they're not going to worry about even filing away the read. But they could file away the read, and it could very much pass off with not much effort with a read by the collar itself, where it's filed away, so that so that the metal extrudes out with the read missing very easily. It would not take much effort at all for a counterfeiter to counterfeit these coins, and it could be passed off with very little suspicion if somebody doesn't have a unique eye for it. Already we've seen Silver Eagles, the Type 2, available without the missing read, and Silver Dragons has done a video showing those. And they're already in. Who knows where they came from? Upon redemption of the mutilated coin redemption program, the United States Mint will process all redemptions at its Philadelphia location, which has new equipment and staff available for performing detailed analysis of coins submitted for redemption. So it's all about this laboratory. But once it gets there, what is the forensic process to trace those back to the original producer? More than likely, they're going to come out of China. We need a more proactive approach, like what the Royal Mint has done with a lenticular technology and unique micro printing measures. That should be the fundamental first step to stop it from being passed off in the first place. Whereas these anti-counterfeiting measures, in my view, are lazy and don't do much to deter anti-counterfeiting measures. In my view, who cares about this lab if you're a Chinese counterfeiter, or maybe even a very discreet American producer, or any foreign producer of counterfeit coins? It's really interesting how they are describing this here. That is new information about this lab. Now here's some other new information. Coin World had scheduled an interview with former U.S. Mint Director David J. Ryder after his September 30th departure from the Bureau to discuss the anti-counterfeiting measures and other initiatives introduced during his tenure, and had already submitted questions when Ryder reconsidered and respectfully declined an in-depth interview. Wow. So this was already in the works for David J. Ryder to talk to Coin World about these things after he left the Mint, and he declined. Wow. That says something in my view. Coin World also requested an on-the-record interview with acting Mint Director Allison Doon, but the U.S. Treasury Department chose not to make her available to the publication for an interview. That tells a lot. That really says a lot, that it's going to be much of the same with the new acting Mint Director. The Treasury Department actually is the one that made the decision. Maybe the Mint Director, the acting Mint Director, would have agreed to do it, but the Treasury Department has tied her hands. That is too bad. That is on Janet Yellen for that. The information contained in this article is based on responses to questions submitted to the Mint's Office of Corporate Communications, and Todd Martin is the one who made that available. And by the way, I have personal dealings with Todd Martin at the U.S. Mint, and he has been as forthcoming as anybody could be at the U.S. Mint. I applaud Mr. Martin for his straightforwardness and his being able to get back with questions from people and the media. And so I give him much credit there. But unfortunately, his hands are obviously tied for what he is available or allowed to talk about. The Mutilated Coin Redemption Program was first suspended in 2015 after a civil complaint was filed on behalf of the Mint that claimed several U.S.-based metal recyclers conspired in an elaborate scheme to bilk the U.S. Mint out of more than $5.4 million. The firms were allegedly seeking payment for large mutilated quantities of what the Mint alleged were counterfeit U.S. coins imported from China. Mint officials in July 2021 sought public comment on proposed revisions to regulations governing the Mutilated Coin Redemption Program, but have not implemented the proposed changes. So that is interesting indeed. And so they just stopped the program, but they're going to be using it in order to filter through these counterfeit coins. So a lot of interesting information here, and I still think it was poorly executed, the rollout of these security features for these coins. But there we have it, the security features and the anti-counterfeiting technology from the United States Mint. I want to thank Coin World for being so proactive in trying to get information out of this. I think this is extremely important, and I believe this will go down as one of David J. Ryder's biggest failures because of the lack of overt security features other than a missing read, which is not a security feature at all if it can be counterfeited or reproduced or just ignored completely, as Silver Dragon showed in his video of the Silver Eagles. How many people even know about this that are just going in and buying these things and not even looking at the edge and knowing exactly where it is on the edge? We'll just take a peek and look around and not really give much detail. You may remember not long ago I talked about this Silver Eagle has another partial missing read. I believe this is an error, and actually I've sent this to Paul Gilks, but he did not want to investigate it much further and felt it was just an error, but nothing to write home about. But I believe it is a big deal. Others have noticed it too. It's a 3/4 missing read on the other side. If you have one of these in your Silver Eagles, let me know. Post in the comment section below. There is 1.5 missing read features on this, and we thought maybe it was part of the original, but it is definitely something different and unique there. Let me know your thoughts below. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.